Today, we're going to talk about things you probably had no idea existed in college admissions, because honestly, they're super gatekept. So just for some background, I come from a public high school that doesn't really send many students to prestigious universities every year, and I also didn't have a college counselor. Because of this, I did a lot of research on the college admissions process before I applied, and I realized for those of us that go to schools that don't have very involved counselors and don't pay for college consultants, there's so much information out there that they just don't tell you and that you have to find out on your own. For our first item today, we're going to be talking about the CDS, or Common Data Set, and essentially every college is required to submit this common data set every year, and you can access them super easily online by just typing in the college name followed by CDS. And essentially, these datasets have so much useful information when applying. The most useful thing for me is this chart that I forgot which item of the dataset it is, but if you scroll down far enough, you'll find it on each dataset, and I'll just put it on the screen so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. And basically, it tells you how much colleges prioritize each factor when admitting students. And this is super useful so you can know which factors to lean into when you're applying to that specific college, and also to kind of predict whether you would even get in that college versus another college, because you might be stronger in one factor over another. The next gatekept item that we're going to talk about are supplements, or supplemental materials. So when most people think of a college application, they think of, your essay, your extracurriculars, your interview, your grades, test scores, all of that. However, it's also possible to submit extra materials called supplemental materials, and these are super useful if you have artistic talent or are doing research. So if you go on the admissions office website for most of these schools, you can find out whether they accept supplemental materials, and a lot of them have their own process for submitting. I submitted a lot of music supplements, so most of the time I use this website called Slide Room, and supplements are very useful because they can showcase an aspect of yourself that would be appealing to a college that you can't showcase on a regular college application. The one caveat is that supplements are usually only submitted when a student is very proficient in the area they're submitting that supplement in. For example, for music supplements, typically they're reviewed by the music faculty at the school you submit your supplement to. So if you're not a good musician and just doing it recreationally, it's not really going to be a good idea to submit that supplement, because it could detract from your application instead of improving it, because it's not just going to be a regular admissions officer reviewing it, it's going to be an actual music professor. It's also possible to submit supplements in research and visual art, and I know all of these categories can be super helpful when applying to college and boost your application. The one last thing about supplements is because they're an extra material on your application, the way you submit them and their requirements differ by every college, so you have to look on that individual college's website to know the exact details. In fact, actually, for some schools like Stanford, if you want to submit an art supplement, you actually have to submit your application like a whole month earlier. The next secret that we're going to talk about is fly-in programs. In my opinion, these are actually really quite gatekept, and not that many people know about them, but essentially what a fly-in program is it's a program that allows students to experience what it's like to be on a college campus before actually applying. So typically, you're able to apply to these programs the summer before you apply to college, and they're all in the fall, and the college will just fly you out to visit their campus. These fly-in programs are typically catered to low-income, rural, and minority students, as these students have less opportunities to actually visit the campus before. Something else to know about these programs is they're actually super selective. So personally, I applied to 4 fly-in programs, and these were the fly-ins to MIT, Caltech, Columbia, and Harvey Mudd, and I didn't get in any of them. Getting in the fly-in does not necessarily mean you're going to get in that university once you apply, but it does mean you're likely a strong candidate for admission. And conversely, you can get in the university even if you're rejected from their fly-in program. Personally, I was rejected from Columbia's fly-in, yet I still got in Columbia, so it can just be like that sometimes. Aside from the chance of visiting the campus before applying to fly-ins is actually a really good idea, because they can get you more used to the college application process and what types of essays you'll have to write for a school before you actually apply. One last point about fly-ins that actually ties into my next gatekept item is fee waivers. So basically, for many fly-ins, if you apply to that fly-in, even if you're rejected, you'll get a fee waiver for actually applying to that university, and that can save you a lot of money in the long run if you're applying to lots of universities. So as I mentioned, my next gatekept thing is fee waivers. So if you are low income, it's pretty easy to actually apply for a fee waiver when you're applying to universities, so you don't have to pay any fee for the application. And for some universities, they don't actually require you to even prove that you're low income. So for example, for MIT, you can just request a fee waiver without having to prove anything, and you'll be able to apply for free. The next college application secret is webinars and events. I know a lot of you have taken AP tests before, so a lot of you might be signed up for College Board Student Search Service. Sometimes it can be really annoying because you get so many emails from colleges, but a lot of these emails are actually super useful. The reason I say that these emails are quite useful is because oftentimes they'll contain links to signing up for webinars or events that the colleges have in your area, and these are really great opportunities to learn more about a school and what they're looking for in applicants. I would usually attend these webinars and events alone and take notes while doing it so that I can refer to the information later when I'm actually writing my essays and formatting my extracurriculars for that school. They're also a good chance to talk to admissions officers in person and ask any questions that you might have about their school. Sometimes you can access webinars from the school's admissions office without having to actually sign up on an email list. A lot of schools host virtual tours online and webinars for specific types of students. My last college application secret, which was actually the most useful to me by far, is this website called College Essay Guy. Just a clarification, this is non-spons, although I wish College Essay Guy sponsored me because he's awesome. So basically, this guy created this website that has so many resources for applying to college. You know, a lot of people spend money on college counseling and do all of these things, but if you're resourceful enough, it's not that hard to find a lot of information online, especially on College Essay Guy. So on this website, there's lots of tips on every part of your application. He's posted many articles about writing your personal statement, about specific ways to format your extracurriculars and your honors, and also so many tips on writing supplemental essays. There's actually this page on his website where you can find tips on writing supplemental essays for each college, and they update it with the new prompts every year, so you can know exactly what you should write for the prompts that college you're applying to is going to require this year. College Essay Guy also has videos on his channel about the ways college admissions officers actually evaluate your application, and I feel like this is a super useful thing to know. Another resource I'd like to just quickly plug is the Yale Admissions Office podcast, which also does a similar job at demystifying the application process, or rather the admissions process. That'll be it for today's video. I hope you guys found this useful. I just wanted to share all of these resources because I had no clue they existed before I applied to college, and I want to ungatekeep all of these resources because I think they could give you guys a much better chance at getting into the universities that you want to get admitted into. See you in the next one. Bye.